Welcome to Vienna, where I start my Eurail adventure and where for the next few days I'll be showing you some, hopefully, fun, interesting, and beautiful things to see and do in Vienna, Austria. Good morning from Vienna. It's my first time in the city and I'm so excited to explore it, but first we need coffee. If you watched last week's video all about the best food I had around Vienna, then you'll know how I started my morning at Café Hawelka, where I had a melange coffee and a strudel. All fueled up, I headed out to explore, starting with St. Stephen's Cathedral. You have a few ticket options for visiting the cathedral, depending on what you want to see. There are two towers, a north and a south tower, as well as a crypt. I simply wanted to get up close to those tiles in one of the towers, so I opted to go up the north tower, which currently costs €6 and has a small elevator that takes you up close to these amazing tiles. After leaving the cathedral, I headed off to explore some of the smaller monuments around the city's old town. There's the Anker Clock, which puts on a small but popular show at noon every day. The clock is at Hoher Markt, and the wedding fountain nearby is a fountain that marks this square, one of the oldest squares in Vienna. If you get hungry while you're here, I highly recommend having a Käse at the bratwurst stall in the square. I am making a slow walk from the center of the city at Stephanplatz to Hofburg Palace, but every time I turn and look down another side street, it's just opulence. The architecture is incredible. It's so beautiful out here. I'm stopping a lot, taking a lot of pictures. It's really beautiful, but the Hofburg is open till 6, so we have time. While I'm very excited for a lot of the things to do in Vienna, there's one thing that was at the top of my list: the National Library. I saw pictures of the inside and it looks amazing. If you're a bit of a bibliophile, I think this is gonna be a must, so let's go in. Geschlossen. It's closed until the 31st of December, I guess. So sad. Try to come in the new year, in 2023, and you'll have more luck. Let me know how it is. As I carried on walking towards the palace, I went past the famous Spanish riding school, which is dedicated to preserving classical dressage. If this is something you'd be interested in watching, you can book tours or even book shows to watch the dressage in action. The Hofburg Palace has two entrances. I came in at the entrance near the CC Museum, and you can explore the grounds completely free. But if you want to go inside any of the museums, like the CC, you simply get your ticket at the entrance to each museum. few other stops that are nearby that are worth checking out are the Austrian Parliament building and the Rathaus, or the Town Hall building. Another must-visit for museum lovers is the Museum Quarter. This is home to some of the city's most incredible museums, and is just in general a wonderful place to spend a sunny afternoon. There are a few cafes and tons of free seating to relax on. My two personal favorite museums that I visited and that I recommend checking out are the Leopold and the Muhmok. When you exit the Museum Quarter, you're very close to the city's popular street market, Naschmarkt. Here you'll find fresh produce, locally produced cheeses, cured meats, as well as restaurants and beer gardens. From here, you can easily walk to the Vienna Opera House, which you can actually still see operas in. I highly recommend booking at least a month in advance so that you can snag one of the more affordable tickets. Alternatively, there are tours offered throughout the day in English, German, and Spanish. Then it's over to Karlskirche to see this stunning church. During the summer months, there's a fountain here which allows for beautiful photos with a reflection of the church. But alas, I came in November, so the fountain was empty. Instead, I booked a show with GetYourGuide so that I could come to the church by night and enjoy an incredible show of Vivaldi's Four Seasons, played by a group of wonderfully talented musicians. GetYourGuide are kindly the sponsors of today's video. I've been using GetYourGuide to book tours for my trips for years, ever since I lived in Mexico City. They have so many great options for your travels, including skip the line tickets, which I used on a recent trip to Italy, concert tickets like this one I went to in Vienna, shows at the Spanish riding school that we went past earlier, and tour guides for all types of activities. I also took a tour of the stunning Schönbrunn Palace on the edge of the city with a GetYourGuide tour, and it was truly a highlight of my trip. All of the tours I took on this trip are linked in the description below. The tour I took included the ticket price as well as the guide, and the guide was so passionate and so knowledgeable about the history of the palace and the Habsburg Empire. It wasn't just facts and names, but she had stories and gossip and history that came to life as we explored each of the rooms of the palace, which you aren't allowed to film or take photos of. Then we headed out into the gardens, which were designed by a French, a Dutch, and an English trio of designers. At the back of the palace is the Glorietta. Apparently, when the palace was being built, Maria Theresa wanted to have it built on this hill, but it would have been way too difficult and expensive. So instead, she had a breakfast building added to the hill, and this was where she would have her morning meal as she looked out over the city below. The last grand palace that I really wanted to see when I was in Vienna was the Belvedere Palace. This place is a museum which you can pay to go inside of, or like many of the palaces, you can simply walk the grounds for free. Head to the opposite side of the lake for a great photo op. I finished my trip with a morning jog along the Danube. This river is one of the most famous in Europe, and there were tons of Danube River cruises parked along the waterfront. Whether you like a jog or not, it was a beautiful place to see some fall colors, and it felt a world away from the hustle of the downtown city area. If you're going to be in Vienna for a few days, I highly recommend grabbing a Vienna City card, which gives you discounts at most of the museums I've mentioned in this video, as well as free use of the public transportation. The public transportation network in Vienna is clean, efficient, and very easy to use. I hope you guys enjoyed exploring Vienna with me. It's such a cool city, but bags are packed. It's time to go. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.